Firing an employee is never easy. Firing your best friend? That's a different kind of pain. It was the hardest decision of my career. A moment where loyalty clashed with survival. But what I learned from that heartbreak saved my business, and ironically, our friendship. Let me take you back to a time when my company was still relatively young, but growing fast. My best friend, let's call him Mark, had been with me since the very beginning. We built this thing together. Late nights, cheap coffee, the whole 9 yards. He was my right hand, my confidant, my closest ally. He managed our sales department, and he was good at it for a while. As the company expanded, so did the demands. We needed tighter processes, clearer metrics, and a more strategic approach to growth. Mark, however, struggled to adapt. He was a fantastic salesman himself, a natural charmer, but as a manager, he lacked the discipline and structure required to lead a growing team. Sales numbers started to stagnate, key opportunities were missed, and team morale began to dip. I saw it happening, but I was in denial. How could I address this with Mark? This wasn't just an employee. This was family. We spent holidays together. Our wives were friends. The thought of confronting him, let alone letting him go, felt like a betrayal of everything we had built as friends. I tried everything else first. I gave him more training, offered mentorship, even shifted some of his responsibilities. Nothing worked. The problem wasn't a lack of effort. It was a fundamental mismatch between his skill set and the evolving needs of the role. The situation became untenable. Clients were complaining. Other team members were frustrated, feeling that their performance was being held back by a lack of leadership from above. My business, the dream we had built together, was suffering. And ironically, our friendship was also strained. Our conversations outside of work became awkward, tinged with unspoken tension. The night I decided to do it, I didn't sleep. It felt like I was planning a funeral. I met him the next morning, not in my office, but in a neutral coffee shop. Just like we used to do when we were dreaming up the company. I explained, as gently but as firmly as I could, that his role was no longer sustainable for the business. I offered him a generous severance package, help with his next career move, and emphasized that this was a business decision, not a personal one. He was devastated, hurt, angry. He accused me of betrayal, of forgetting where I came from. Every word was a knife. We didn't speak for months. It felt like the friendship was truly over, and I carried that weight, that guilt, every single day. But here's the unexpected truth. Within 3 months, with a new sales manager in place, the department was revitalized. Sales surged, morale improved, and the business found its footing again. The decision, though brutal, was objectively the best move for the company. Even more surprisingly, about 1.5 years later, I received a call from Mark. He had taken some time off, recalibrated, and started his own small consulting firm. He thanked me. He said that being forced out, though painful at the time, made him realize he was in the wrong role. He found his true calling. And our friendship, once strained by the pressures of work, slowly, organically, began to heal. The lesson I learned: true leadership often requires the courage to make incredibly difficult, emotionally painful decisions for the greater good of the organization. Loyalty is vital, but it cannot override the demands of performance and the health of the business. Sometimes, letting go is the act of loyalty to the vision, to the team, and sometimes, even to the friend who needs a push in a different direction. If you want more lessons that go deeper than the surface of success, subscribe to Richard Sterling tomorrow. I'll share a story about how to spot a real opportunity in a flood of noise.